Liam Griffin on the line. Good morning to you, Liam.
Good morning. How are you? I'm hoarse. Don't be surprised anyway.
I can imagine. So,
yeah.
Limerick are Munster champions. Wexford are Leinster champions. It feels like 1996 all over again, Liam.
Yeah, you might say that one more time with Wexford or what?
Congratulations. They're Leinster champions and it's not a dream.
Yeah, but we're Leinster champions under double, which is much more significant for me, But anyway, go on. Yeah, sorry.
Well, let's actually start with that then. The sort of amazing day it was for Wexford yesterday. 1985, the last time they'd won a minor title. 2004, the last time they'd won a senior title. The roar in Croke Park yesterday after the minor win was huge, as big as a minor cheer as I've ever seen at Croke Park. This was an incredible day to be from Wexford.
Yeah, no, this was a magic day. On your progression, as you try to come forward, there's a lot of this, what's, might happens, and I think it all came together yesterday. There's a plan going on in Wexford since 2012, and I think, that's an important part of this as well. So it's been worked on, very well. The first administration to deal with it dealt with it partly, and the new administration has dealt with it completely, and it's made a massive difference. And that's where the minor's coming from. But, the bottom line is, as far as I'm concerned, and I know this might sound a bit strange to some people, winning Leinster senior hurling for me doesn't mean an awful lot unless we have something coming behind to sustain us. Because if you look at Offaly, and I have great time for Offaly over the years, they are in free fall as a result, obviously, of not building on what they had. And so were we guilty of that. We didn't know what we stood for a long time in terms of where we were going in sport. So, we have a plan now and it's working. And this is to see that work yesterday is absolutely amazing. Now, go on from the minors. We have a few outstanding young players in that minor team now who are very skillful and really, really good. To match the likes of Rory O'Connor and these fellas going forward, and Paddy Foley and Ogie, and all the lads that we have already. Now, go back to the senior team. Davy has come in for criticism. Davy's, as I said to you the last time I was speaking here, Davy, none of us are going to change Davy. I certainly don't want to change him. I just think that he's doing a fantastic job. He was the perfect fit for Wexford. The perfect fit. The right man wanted a job and the right team wanted a man. And that's what happened. Now, Liam Dunn had done tremendous work. He's a great friend of mine. He'd done tremendous work, and he brought it to a certain level. And he was disappointed when he didn't continue. But he was part of the evolution of the process, and he should take great credit for that. And that's it. So now we are who we are with Davy. And Davy has really, really achieved with this group, and they really wanted to achieve themselves. You have got Ogie there, Liam McGovern. Liam McGovern has had 2 cruciate ligaments done, has 2 cruciates, and he's had a hip surgery. And he's back in the fold again this year and playing a really major part in all that. And he wanted to win something badly. He epitomises that kind of approach. Now, the other great thing we have is a lot of intelligent players. We've got a lot of really intelligent players, and the big goal matters to them, and that's what's making it possible. And Davy then has his style, which is a different style in terms of coaching, and that's the perfect match. Now, would he ever achieve? No, they won't. Yes, they will. I don't like the way they play. I would love to be playing the modern game because the way it's played, except for those scums, they're a disaster, they're crap, they shouldn't be part of our game. But that's part of the price we pay for the modern game. Now, I'm going on all day here now, but I'm just saying that's just where we are. And it's a wonderful place to be. And what I'm feeling greatest about this morning is the future is bright for Wexford hurling. But the future looks to me to be sustainable. We have a lot more work to do on this plan, but I think we are coming back. We are arriving back on stage. We're only coming to arrive back on stage where we should be, and we should have been for many years, because we're not given our own market, which is hurling, is what they want. The market we haven't been fulfilling that. Now we are, and now we look like we're poised for success, but only if we work hard and go forward again. Now, that's a long bloody speech.
Not at all. It's brilliant, Liam. Let's focus on the present for a moment and look at these scenes from Gorey yesterday. I think you sent down this video. This is absolute incredible. This is your own footage, Liam, is it, that you sent in? You were here yesterday.
I had my grandchild at the match with me yesterday, so I went back through Gorey. Now, that I didn't take that, because I got in before the madness. I just went in to see a flavour of what it's going to be like in Gorey. I came in off the motorway, and I knew it was going to be massive, and that's what you see there. It's just actually fantastic, and all the way up along the streets in Gorey. You know what? They wouldn't do that for a World Cup in some of the countries in the world, so it's fantastic, and it's great to see, because that's what the people want. They want to see those days, and they're entitled to get them, because we have the resources to do it, to be honest. It's just putting it all together. So that's what it is. I think it's fantastic, those scenes.
And it just makes it so much more pleasurable given the pain and given the recent pain. I mean, Brendan O'Brien had the statistic this morning that 10 of the Wexford players that featured 4 years ago when Kilkenny beat them by 24 points, 10 players still around from then. Like, that is incredible. That is not just a new generation of players, which it is as well. This is also a changing and the improvement of a current crop too.
Yes, it is, but there's a few things that come together. The standout thing is Davy. That's the standout thing. Now, whether people like to accept that, that's the standout thing. The plan is the important, foundation stone. That's working. Davy worked. But the great thing is we have a bunch of guys who are prepared to knuckle down and do this because they wanted to do it. The desire was there. And their persistence is what you have to say. This is persistence personified. And then the belief that Davy gave them and the work that Liam done, all that's come together now. It just doesn't happen overnight. But I think that Davy, you can say what they like about Davy. He has some record, man. He has some record. And if that's the price we pay for Davy losing the heading on time, what the hell about it? Like, what the hell is the problem with that? Like, this is what it's all. This is rural sport, and this is bullfighting by a different standard. Like, we're just ordinary rural people. Like, and you get out there and you do it, and you second get on with it, and that's it. And that's what he's done, and that's it. What the hell more do we want? Like, analysing him to death, and he said this and he said that. Look at. We won Leinster. You said it. We are the Leinster champions, and we are on the double. And that's the first time since 1970. I thought it was the first time since '68, but it's the first time since 1970. And that's not. We shouldn't have been waiting this long, but we are, and we are where we are now, and it's just amazing. And some of the performances yesterday were just absolutely outstanding. And I said to you the last day when that. There was criticism there, and Davey was given out about it, the way he was treating reporters. For Christ's sake, will you stop? Reporters are hardy buggers, like. So, from that point of view, I said at that stage that there was a cameo in the second half against Galway that day. That Davy, you could see it all coming together. Now, that needed to come together for an entire Leinster final, and parts of it came together against Dublin, and parts of it came together in Wexford Park. A lot of it in Wexford Park in the drawing game. But yesterday, they did a complete performance. Now, Rory had a brilliant game, and that I'd say he should have went for a goal just before half-time, and I'd say he was told when he went in, the next time you get that clear, you keep going. And he got the penalty. But three outstanding players in the last few minutes caught three high balls that were absolutely vital. Lee Sheahan, Liam Ryan and Matthew Hanlon caught three fantastic high balls that could go missed. But if you look back over the video, those three catches were absolutely vital on top of Rory's penalty and the conversion by Mark Fanning.
Liam, just on you talk about the plan that's after clicking into gear, like there's an awful lot of counties, and you mentioned Offaly, but even in football as well, they're in a situation where they have a huge amount of enthusiasm for the game, just as Wexford do for hurling, and they have a lot of people involved in the county, but can't actually figure out what the first step is to kind of getting the thing going again. Could you tell us, like, what did that entail?
Well, what it entailed with us was we undertook a study of Wexford and where it stood. In fact, it was my own son did it, and he was doing his masters at the time, and we needed someone to do something, and he did this. He did a study, and it was an analytical study of Wexford hurling, and there was criticism of it in faces, but as he said at the time, keep reading the facts. Don't just keep trying to ask me to change the facts. The facts are telling us we didn't win colleges since '72. We haven't won minors since '85. We haven't been, we have been neglecting the game. I can't help that. I'm just telling you the facts. So the plan laid out what we needed to do and what the suggestions were, and that's been followed by the previous administration in part. But this was never going to happen unless the county board embraced it. So the county board has to embrace the plan, and they have embraced it, and they really have worked in behind that plan. Now, it's been difficult for them to embrace some stuff. It needs finance, it needs resources and all of those things. But that's where that evolved from. And the plan is down. There's a blueprint that was written on it, and there was a group involved in a hurling advisory committee, and everybody got together to try and put something together. But does that mean we're there? Not at all. We haven't even hit a home run yet. We've got to keep working on the plan. And it's, it's an evolving process, and you can't stop. And the GAA is not good at that at county board level, because the structures of the association doesn't make it. It's always about today, and and it has to be about tomorrow more so than today. And that's been a major input for Wexford. But that's not to take from the fantastic performance yesterday, because we should be concentrating on that and of the minors' performance yesterday. And I have gone to Croke Park for a long time. I was gone out of the country from the end of the 60s right through to the 70s and missed some of the periods. But I have watched free takers for Wexford over the years. And while Lee Sheahan did a fantastic job in his frees yesterday, a young guy, a minor, AJ Redmond, he actually hit frees from every part of Croke Park and put him over the bar one, which he got the very first one, an awkward angle. A complete conversion, non-stop. A 17-year-old standing up in Croke Park doing that. We haven't seen that ever. And I saw some of the great free takers that we had, Ned Buggy, Podge Kehoe, and all of those fellas. I never saw them have a strike rate like that. And that is absolutely, for me, like a sun busting out of the seams. Because that's a Kilkenny trait. And this was now a Wexford trait yesterday. And then Lee comes in the senior game, missed one free as well. Like, that is monumental in hurling. And that is some kind of chink to see. Bloody hell, we are arriving when we can do that. And a 17-year-old kid, fantastic.
Like, it all kind of plays into this idea that, you know, the bottle of that Wexford have is something incredible now. And you mentioned some of the players there, the family ties they have, the weight of history on this team, the weight of Croke Park on this team, the weight of even recent free-taking failings on the part of Lee Chin. That was all dispelled yesterday on the biggest stage, when the circumstances were at their most potentially grave, when they could have potentially had fingers pointed at them for not showing up in Croke Park yet again. They all showed up.
Yes, but the fantastic thing is that both teams turned up. I was involved in helping out with minor teams over the years, and we have produced some absolutely brilliant minor teams. Every bit as good as that yesterday's minor team, really. But we didn't do it on the big day in Croke Park. We kind of choked. My own lads were involved in some of them. We choked, and we collectively choked. And that's the weight of history that we've had to come through. And these youngsters got over the line on that yesterday. And then the seniors setting the example. So the example that's set from the two teams yesterday, like, that has to be built on, not just wallowed in. It has to be built on after we wallow for a few days, and we will wallow. But, you know, it's just so uplifting, because we are a hurling county, and yes, we play a lot of football too, and I'm not against any code. I'm in favour of football and hurling, but everybody has to get their own act together. And serious decisions have to be made about hurling and football over time. You can't play a county minor in hurling and football and be good at both of them, and that's a nonsense. You just can't do it with kids to say, right, you're going to be on the county minor team and you're going to be on the county minor and hurling football team. I played them both in my time. That's okay. These were once-off matches, knockouts, then that's it. You're done and dusted. So under the modern system, you have to embrace that, and some of those decisions have to be made, and they don't go down well, because parents want their children on every team, like. But unfortunately, you can't do that for the greater good of the entire process, and that's also fundamental to the system, fundamental to progress as well. So look, a lot of things need to come together, and it did happen yesterday in Croke Park. And look, I'm on a high anyway. I don't know what I'm on today, except for just pure hurling. But anyway, it's just great to see it.
You mentioned a few minutes ago, Liam, about Wexford and their intelligent players. I'm interested in whether they're intelligent players because of Davy Fitzgerald, or because Davy Fitzgerald is having extra success with them because they're naturally intelligent players.
I would say that Davy Fitzgerald, look, at Davy is infectious, and that's it. And when he comes in, he's so passionately involved. He preaches hurling, and that's it. He's not preaching advanced science or applied maths. He's talking about hurling. These boys are emotional intelligence, and they're also very good intelligence. A lot of those are very good academically, by the way, a lot of them. So from that perspective, like, they want to talk hurling. He comes in with a hurling plan. They're prepared to follow him to hell if it needs to be that way, because they're ambitious. So as I said, it's a perfect fit, you know, and because of that, it's an emotional fit, really, isn't it? Because they then have the intelligence to say, okay, that's what has to be done, and we're going to try it. We've tried everything else, we're going to try this. And that's what they've done. And they tried it with Liam Dunn as well, by the way, and they gave him a huge commitment as well. But, you know, that was just part of the evolutionary process, and that's it. So I think that matching of the two together is just what fits. And also, the game plan, everyone said that Wexford were going to be under pressure in Croke Park with the wide open spaces. I genuinely felt, and I thought, hold on a minute now, we've got Ogie, we've got Dee O'Keefe, who was immense yesterday, we've got Rory O'Connor, we have Conor Mack, not the fastest player, but a player that is if he gets a bit of space, can do a lot of work. So I felt that would suit our forwards very well, and it did. It suited our forwards very well, because they are they're very speedy, some of them, but they're also very good to run the angles and take the ball off the shoulder and get the timing right, and that's down to Davey as well. So it's the coming together of everything, and that's and the big desire to make it happen. And by the way, there's a little cameo there yesterday, which is absolutely brilliant as far as I was concerned. Rory O'Connor got a ball, stuck it in Jack's hand, and Jack stuck it over the bar from the middle of the field. So that was just a beautiful moment. And then the two of them jumping up on top of each other and it's over. These are just the sights that you lap up when you're watching Croke Park, and that's the future as well for us. So, but the persistence and the belief and the intelligence and the Davy plan, it all worked. And then the absolute conversion of the frees. And Kevin Foley was immense there yesterday, the sweeper. He is absolutely a wonderful little hurler. I've had him since he was a minor and so forth, and he was more like a Kilkenny type hurler with the visionary and the stick work and all of those things. And it's been a great move to put him in as the sweeper, because he's got all of the attributes necessary. He's got ice in his veins as well. He doesn't panic, and he's able to look up and he's able to do it under pressure.
The long-term future is clearly unbelievably bright for Wexford after everything we've seen yesterday. What about the short-term future, Liam? Where is the season going to end up?
Look, you don't put your lid on ambitions. I mean, I would hope that we can go further. The system again, like we're going to meet, some team is going to come in from another couple of games. I would prefer if we wound up playing the semi-final in a couple of weeks' time, and it was a straight move to meet the team who would just come out of Munster or whatever, the beaten team if it's that. So, but we have to wait now for the semi-final. And, I would hope that we can do really, really well in the semi-final. I wouldn't like to think that the Leinster final is the end of it, but I think we have to be realistic and say we're still evolving, and we still have to be, we have to tread carefully, and we can't get carried away with ourselves. And above all, we've got to stay modest in our own approach to it from here on in and say, right, that's done, it's in the drawer. Lock it up, leave it there, let's get on with it, and let's see where we go next. And I think with an attitude of, okay, we start all over again. We're now in a new campaign, don't forget. This is a whole new season as far as I'm concerned. Leinster's over, have a good time for the rest of the week, drop it, forget about it and move on. That's what I think will happen, and I think Davey will get that to happen. So I'm not going to start saying what's going to happen, but let's see what does happen, that's it. But anyway, whatever happens, I just think Davy has done magic with us. 2 Leinster finals in 3 years. We won it. And above all, I think I said it the last day, we have young lads. And this is obviously a really important factor in the evolution of sport. Rory O'Connor, Paddy Foley, Kevin Foley, Liam Ryan, and most of those guys know nothing, only playing first division hurling. And it's made all the difference to them, because it lifts you when you're in there. And Davy got us into that first division, and that was important. That was important in the evolution of this team as well. There was criticism of Davy for killing the team too early in the season. Listen, you've got to actually climb the ladder. There's no point in trying to go from 0 to 70 just to satisfy the people. He set the right target, get into the first division, which he did. That's a huge, monumental achievement, because that's a great place for developing the players. Then we got to a Leinster final, didn't do well. Galway beat us well that day, but a big learning lesson. And now we come along and turn it back around, and that's down to Davy and winning the Leinster final this year again. So, look, it's all good news. That's it for the moment. But look, it's only good news. It's a matter of keeping it going. That's it.
Liam, it's been great hearing from you this morning. I think everybody's got a smile on their face after listening to you speak. Enjoy the rest of the celebrations, and thanks a million for taking the call.
And thanks a million. See you, and hopefully we'll be talking again.
Hopefully. Liam Griffin there on the line after Wexford 123, Kilkenny 23 points in Croke Park yesterday.